Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown, the baseball team is on a hot streak while men's lacrosse clinched a spot in the MAC playoffs. Plus, Jacqueline Raynor of the women's tennis team is in the studio. We'll talk to her about her record-breaking season. Bobcat Breakdown starts right now. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm Fearon, and tonight we have a jam-packed show covering the baseball, women's tennis, and men's lacrosse teams. Let's start off with the baseball team, which is currently on a roll. Jon Delaney's squad is 19-18 and 10-5 in the MAC, which is good for first place in the conference. Bobcats are also getting the job done at home, boasting a 9-2 record in Hamden. Now let's bring in Morey Hershgordon for more. Morey, thanks for joining me tonight.
No problem, Dylan. My pleasure.
It's been a while. Since
it has been. I like the matching pens.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Let's get to it. This baseball team had 18 wins last year. They've already surpassed that with 19 this year. They have plenty of games left this season, and including the MAC tournament. What's the difference between last year's team and this year's squad?
I think it's the new face. Jon Delaney takes over this program as just shy of 30 years old, Dylan. Tremendous player here at Quinnipiac. In 2005 as a freshman, they won the NEC, the Northeast Conference, went to the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history as a Division I program. Then his junior year in 2007, they won the NEC again, did not make the NCAA tournament. I think it's a new face, new mentality, younger mentality, hungry, and he's got his team rolling.
Last year they were really young. We've seen them mature 1 year. They bring in Jon Delaney, obviously. Wyatt Hamilton's back. He redshirted last year, had Tommy John. Is it going to be the pitching that's going to lead this team into the MAC tournament and beyond, or is it really the hitting that's going to have to be really, really good for this team?
You know, it's a little bit of both. I want to talk about scheduling a little bit. Quinnipiac doesn't play two teams in the conference. So every team doesn't play two. The two teams that they do not play are Canisius and Iona. Canisius clearly the best hitting team in the conference. Iona the best pitching team. So right now, the Bobcats are in great shape to win the conference in the regular season. Playoffs, though, I'm not really sure. They haven't faced two of the tougher teams. I think it's going to be pitching. Pitching and defense wins baseball games. Thomas Jenkins, just about a 2.1 ERA in the MAC. Justin Thomas, a sub-2 ERA. He was just named MAC Pitcher of the Week. I think it's going to be pitching. Their bullpen is loaded, Dylan, with returners. Gary Binkowitz, a graduate student. Matt Lorenzetti, Greg Egan. Even the likes of Joe Scaglione as a sophomore, junior, and grad students, experienced bullpen, experienced pitching is going to lead them down the road, I think.
So you mentioned you're not really sold on the hitting, but you love the pitching this year. What kind of changes are you giving this team as they head to the MAC tournament?
It's still early. They still have a couple series left. They've been playing well at home. They've also played well on the road. They're going to have to play at Manhattan if they clinch a playoff spot. They still haven't clinched a playoff spot yet. I'm assuming that they're going to. I think their chances at a MAC championship are slim. Baseball is an odd game. A team that doesn't hit the ball well can still win a championship. Unlike when we talk about basketball or we talk about like soccer. Basketball, if you don't score the ball, you're not going to win games. Baseball, you can win games with 1 run. You can win games with 2 runs. This pitching has to still stay consistent for the rest of the year, and I have to see it into May and still in these out-of-conference games as they progress down the road.
Last year, Siena 0-17, makes a magical run, gets the NCAA tournament. Can this team do that?
Oh, yeah, this team definitely can do that. And I don't want to shy away from the hitting. They have tremendous hitters. 3 of the top 13 in the conference are on this team. Vingaletti, Palladino, and Donahue are all above 300. Vingaletti's had a monster senior year. His slugging percentages at .585, seeing the ball really well, spraying it to all fields. They're 3rd in the conference in batting average, on base percentage. They're 4th in the conference. They steal a lot of bags. They also sacrifice bunt very well. They move runners over. They had 2 one-run wins this past weekend against Fairfield, a 4-3 win in 10 innings and a 2-1 win in 9. But Dylan, also, the thing is they don't strike out that much. And in baseball, when you put the ball in play, good things happen. You make the other team make errors, and you make the other team make plays. That's why I think this Bobcats team has a chance. They still have to play well. You know, there's plenty of games left. Baseball is a funky game. You can hit a slide just like that. Pitchers can stop throwing strikes just like that. But right now, all is good for John Delaney and company.
Morey Hershgordon, thank you for your insight.
No problem.
We're going to step aside for just a minute, but when we come back, I will sit down with women's tennis senior Jacqueline Raynor. Stay with us.
Looking for debate and analysis of your favorite Quinnipiac sports?
Attacking and pressing. I mean,
Right, and it's not and what they're doing isn't working.
But unfortunately, they couldn't finish the Colgate game, so I think definitely those are the keys that the Bobcats need to watch.
Had guys that can take the ball in the latter stages of the second half.
I think those
Even
are
with
the
limited minutes.
In the MAC, they play the run and gun style.
Q30's and QBSN's Bobcat Breakdown brings all that to you and more. Live every Monday night at 8:30, tune in to see analysis of your Bobcats from the week before. Every sport, from every season, it's all right here on Bobcat Breakdown.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Back to his holiday.
This is my mom.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. I'm now joined by women's tennis senior Jacqueline Raynor. Jacqueline, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to go back to last year. Last year, you guys went over from the NEC to the MAC, went undefeated 8-0, and won the MAC tournament, went over to California, played Stanford in the NCAA tournament, and then you followed it up this year with going undefeated in the MAC. You're now the 1 seed in the tournament, looking to go to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year. What's the last 2 years been like for you?
It's definitely been different. Our freshman and sophomore year, I was in the NEC, and it was definitely a more challenging conference. We had some matches where we won really easily, and then we had matches where we lost really badly. So I guess going to the MAC is definitely easier, so we had more confidence going into it.
So you guys went to California last year, played Stanford. You know, that's an incredible experience for you and your teammates. How was that going over to the West Coast?
It was amazing. None of us have ever been to California before, and none of us have ever been to the NCAA tournament. So just getting to go there it was unbelievable. But actually playing in it, we played in like a big stadium with like a huge crowd, so it was awesome. It was definitely something that I would definitely want to do again.
So last week, you get your 166th career win, surpassing Stephanie Petricki for the most all-time in Quinnipiac program history. What's that got to feel like, knowing that you have the most wins out of anyone to ever come through this program?
I mean, my coach talked about it freshman year, and she's like, "This is the number, and I think you all have a chance of doing it." But I never thought about it. I was just kind of like, 166, that's a lot. But then going into it my senior year, my coach was like, "You're on the right track to get it. You just have to play really well." So it's always in the back of my mind, but I never thought I would do it. And then when I finally did it, I was just so shocked. It's very surreal. It's kind of
great
cool.
moment. Yeah. Let's go back a little bit. You went to Garden City High School, highly touted recruit, one of the top 101 players in the country. Coming to Quinnipiac, you've had success here. What's driven you to play tennis, and what inspired you to play tennis?
Well, I never really thought I would play tennis. I was always into soccer. I played soccer my entire life. But then, for some reason, me and my sister, we just switched. We were like, let's do something different. No one in my town really played tennis, and we tried to branch off. And then I started playing when I was 10, 11, and then I just liked it. So I played for the past 10 years, 11 years.
Gotcha. Sophomore year, all NEC. Last year, all MAC. I mean, you've had a successful 4 years here at Quinnipiac. What has driven you the past couple of years in the MAC to be so successful as an individual and as a team?
Well, first, we've never won a MAC championship at NEC nothing. So that was definitely an inspiration for me. Losing my freshman and sophomore year, it's hard. So I wanted to do it before I graduated. That was the one thing I wanted to do. And then I think also having the record, like that there was a chance I could do it, that definitely drove me to play.
You guys have been going for your second straight MAC championship now. What are you and your team going to have to do for the next week or so to get that second ring?
We definitely need to practice a lot. Last year we went into it very confident and we almost lost. So I think this year we definitely need to be not less confident, but more prepared. We weren't as prepared last year and we won, but this year it's different teams. The teams are definitely stronger this year, so we just have to be more confident and practice well.
You mentioned teams are tougher. What teams exactly have given you trouble this year, like a Niagara, who's 7-1, teams like that?
See, we played Niagara last year. We beat them 7-0, and then we go in this year and we win 4-3. Right. We almost lost. It was down to one match, and the team is just different. They got a bunch of new recruits that are very top players, and we didn't really get any new recruits, so that was definitely challenging. But we ended up winning. But I think we need to go into it more prepared than we were last time.
Gotcha. Jacqueline Raynor, thanks a lot, and good luck in the MAC tournament.
Thank you.
We're going to step aside one more time, but when we come back, Jon Alba tells us a very interesting story about women's basketball coach Tricia Fabbri and the impact she has had in 20 years at Quinnipiac. We'll be right back.
The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Back to his Hollywood. This is my mom. I have to make a decision here and back.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Championships are etched in time. They are commemorated with rings, trophies, and banners. And behind every championship is a team.
Individual does not exist in the team game of basketball. You need great individuals to make the team really successful.
But Tricia Fabbri has been the individual behind the team for 20 years at Quinnipiac. As players have rotated in and out, she's been the lone constant.
You need to be in the moment. You've got to embrace it one day at a time, and there's a lot of hours in the day, and enjoy every one of them. And coaching basketball allows me to have great experiences one day at a time.
More than 7,200 days, 2 NCAA tournaments, and 300 wins later, she still is climbing the list of Bobcats greats. What drives you to be competitive?
I just want to be better all the time, and I want to do it the right way.
She's a successful competitor. I mean, she certainly can win, but she doesn't do it at the expense of rules or academics or budgets. She does it the right way.
My dad saw an ad in the newspaper when I was in 7th grade. He saw an ad for a tryout, AAU team being put together in the Trenton area, which is about 45 to 50 minutes north of where I grew up in Delran, New Jersey. He saw the ad, played sport family, said this is something, me being, already 6 foot tall at 12 or 13 years of age, said, let's go give this a try. Let's go see what this is about. Loved being around and being a part of a team that was so competitive and really talented, really hooked me into basketball.
But what if Fabbri had lost her competitive edge in those 20 years? What if her Hall of Fame legacy didn't exist? December 4th, 2000. Quinnipiac hosted Seton Hall in Fabbri's 6th year as head coach, the Bobcats' 3rd in Division I. Early success led to heavy growing pains after the team finished the season prior with just 9 wins.
I really, after 5 years, recently married 2 young kids. Slowly but surely getting, full-time assistants, not totally there. I really doubted, can this be done? Can I do this anymore? Can I lead this program?
The pains would become intolerable as the Bobcats held an early lead against the Pirates at halftime.
And so we're all starting to daydream, are we gonna get this game, are we gonna get this game? And the building had a reasonable amount of people in it, so it was and Trish was there with her family, her parents and her in-laws, and she always brought a great entourage of fans to the game. And so sure enough, the end of the game didn't turn out so well, and we sort of lost the lead, and just sort of a bad loss in the world of athletics.
Quinnipiac had just lost a big game, but it was about to lose something more valuable.
And I went back up to my office and just was, shutting down my computer or whatever, preparing to go home, and in she walks.
Saying, I don't think I can go on anymore as a head coach.
She says, Jack, I can't handle this. I'm sorry, I'm disappointing you and John Leahy. I think I want to resign.
So what did he say to that?
You're not going anywhere. You're doing a really good job in a really tough situation. We're in this together.
And I said, Trish, get out of my office and come back to see me on Monday. So just get out. I'm going to pretend you never said that.
What do you think Jack saw in you at that time and still continues to see in you that would force him to say something like that?
He saw in me what I couldn't see at the time, that someone who was the right person to continue to lead and build a really good program here at Quinnipiac.
We needed her, and I've had that situation before with other coaches where we had a losing streak or something happens, and this is when you really need your coaches to be guiding them. And so she recovered, and here we are today.
And today, Quinnipiac is becoming a mid-major powerhouse, riding Fabbri's accolades into new success.
How do you believe your peers perceive you as their leader?
I would think that they think that I'm a pretty down-to-earth person that really enjoys coaching the game of basketball.
She does it right, and she wins along the way, and she's continuing to win. She has it really going right now. It's going to continue to keep going.
And I would think that they would recognize someone who really does it the right way, one day at a time, really working really hard.
We're very fortunate at Quinnipiac to have her as our head women's basketball coach, and the NCAA Division I is very fortunate to have Trish represent the sport of women's basketball as well as she does.
2 rings, 2 trophies, 2 banners, all of which would be gone if the competitor had quit. The Bobcat Shop, located at 1010 Sherman Avenue in Hamden. Your #1 choice for Bobcat merchandise. The Bobcat Shop features 2 floors of countless styles and colors. With a full 19,000 square foot screen printing and embroidery operation on the premises, Campus Customs and Simplify can design and decorate any garment or promotional product as quickly as needed. Stop in and say hi.
Back to this Hollywood. This is my mom.
talks about which you come in.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. The men's lacrosse team clinched a spot in the MAC tournament with a 9-8 win over Monmouth last weekend. Bobcats are now 4-2 in the MAC, 5-7 overall, and play Air Force this Thursday before the MAC tournament next week. For men's lacrosse, we bring in Becky Stone. Becky, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Dylan.
This team lost a lot to graduation last year, and a lot of freshmen transferred out. Why have they been more successful than last year?
Well, the three big names that transfer out were some of the most controversial players to the team last year. For example, senior Dylan Webster. In the course of the year, he was the second highest scoring player with 26 goals. So that was huge. Losing their second biggest scorer is definitely a big deficit. Also, their goalkeeper, Gil Connors. He had 57% shot save, which is huge for men's lacrosse. Goalies are a big contribution to the game since in men's lacrosse, guys are shooting every 2 seconds, ripping shots, so goalies are everything. One interesting player that we lost was Zach Vihar. He was a freshman who was very controversial to the team because he was the go-to man for draw controls. He won about 53% of his draw controls. He transferred to Syracuse. Not 100% sure why, but that's definitely been something that the Bobcats have had to make up since draw controls are huge. Coach Eric Feketa noted that last year the team would start off really great, but then tend to fall apart. Luckily this year, though, it seems to be the opposite. The Bobcats will either clinch a lead when they have it early, or they'll make really good comebacks.
You mentioned Gil Connors and how good he was last year. Now that he's not there, Jack Rust fills that void. Jack Rust was the MAC Defensive Player of the Week last week. Why has he been so good and filling that replacement?
He only got to see a little bit of field time last year, so stepping up this year has been a big challenge for him. He makes a lot of crucial saves in the games, especially in the last 3 games since they've had that 3-game win streak. When the defense fails him, he really steps up, and he's quick on his feet, which is huge in men's lacrosse. The ball's really small. He has to follow it. So he's been really stepping up to the plate in these last couple games, which is, in my opinion, why they've clinched that the MAC tournament.
You mentioned earlier that this team would start off well and then not be able to close, or vice versa. Why this year has it been the exact opposite? Why have they been able to close games and win lacrosse games?
Feketa says that in a couple of interviews he's had this year, he says that in the winning games, the guys have stuck to their plan. And I think in the tournament, they really need to stick to those plans because they seem to work. For example, in the game against Detroit, they were winning early. They ended the second half 8-7, and then at the end of the game only pulled it off 13-12. So they really were able to clinch. And he said it was mostly because of the defense. The defense really built up that wall and didn't let them penetrate after that time. In the game against Canisius, they also had a really big clinch, winning the game only 9-7. So all of these games are coming off pretty close, and that plan seems to be working. In the game against Monmouth, where they only won 9-8, that was a huge comeback for them. In the second half, they were losing 7-3 to Monmouth, and that comeback was just amazing. Offense is where they really stepped up in the game against Monmouth.
Quinnipiac locked in as a 2 seed in the MAC playoffs. Marist is the 1 seed. There are a couple teams that Quinnipiac could play in that semifinal matchup. Becky, what team posed the biggest threat to Quinnipiac going into the tournament?
Obviously Monmouth, just because they're the #1 seed, and if we do see them, it would be in the championship game. And we've already lost to them once this season. It was a 13-8 loss, which was not too great. But I have confidence in the Bobcats because after playing them, they know who to look out for. For example, Coley Hoka, who scored 7 goals, and then Joseph Radden, who scored 3 goals and 4 assists. So they know to look out for those people. Also Detroit, they're right behind them in the bracket, and since they only won 13-12, they're going to have to step their game up and remember what they did to win the last time.
Quinnipiac loses their goaltender, one of their best freshmen in Zach Vihar, and their second best scorer in Dylan Webster. How much confidence do you have going into the MAC tournament for this team? How well can they do in the tournament?
I think they're on a good roll. They have momentum from these last 3 games, and that game against Monmouth is definitely a confidence booster for them. I think they're starting to figure out their chemistry, their momentum. Defense has been really stepping it up. That's where they really lacked in the beginning of the year. And in the past 3 games, they've really clinched their formation, gotten their man-to-man defense down. Brust has really stepped up. He kind of has that confidence now. And also, scorers that have been really good in the past 3 games, freshman Brian Feldman, junior Ryan Keenan, and senior Michael Salg. They have been doing everything they can, and they know what to do. They just have to bring that to the tournament.
Quinnipiac closes out the regular season against Air Force before the MAC tournament. Becky Stone, thanks so much.
Thanks, Dylan.
That's all the time we have for you tonight. For more information, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook at QBSN. And check out our website at theqbsn.com. For all the guys behind the scenes, Morey Hershgordon and Becky Stone, I'm Dylan Fearon. Have an excellent night, everyone.